803-0550 for your calls. Here is Noah next. Hi, Noah.
Hey, Mike. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
So the topic I wanted to bring up is going to be a bit out of the blue, but I have been wanting to kind of bring it up as something that stood out to me during the AFC Championship game. And even as a fan sitting at home, I'm sure, wherever you were watching it, right? I feel like everybody in the room with me as well could tell that Josh Allen was going to run a QB sneak. And I believe they ran it a total of 6 times, and they only converted it twice.
You mean in Kansas City?
Yes, in the championship game.
Okay.
So I've heard the argument plenty of times of, well, they run it every time because it's their best play. Yeah. But I feel like if I could see it coming and the Chiefs defense could see it coming too, my question is like, do you think that Joe Brady is lacking or even lacked creativity in those short yardage situations? Because it kind of felt like Buffalo just kept running straight into the teeth of the Kansas City's defense instead of mixing it up or keeping them guessing or, make it look like, hey, we're going to run this. This is the exact formation we go into every time we run this, and then try a swing pass. My concern is that January is going to come around and we're going to do the same thing, or we're not going to have any answers. There's not going to be like any creativity as far as, I even remember Allen one time, I believe he said like, oh, we don't want to show them everything. Well, then we got to the game and there wasn't anything new, right? So I don't know if he's maybe just saying that or what the situation is, but I'd just like to get your thoughts.
Yeah. Interesting thoughts, Noah. Thanks. I'm not at a point where I would label the Bills as, not creative when it comes to that. I think that's the kind of play where creativity isn't really what's called for. But you're saying, should they run a different play? I'm somebody that I think you might be referring to as somebody like this. Allen running is their best play. They really did run him in short yardage 6 times against Kansas City. I'm trying to, while you were talking, I was trying to count. I've got 4, and I'm not done. I'm in the third quarter. Wasn't it said that they always ran left on sneaks? Like, is that a lack of creativity, always wanting to, go left? There was I can't picture this play. 4th and 1, third quarter, 4th and 1 at the Kansas City 33, Allen right end for 3 yards. Right end is probably like around the right end, not just like right guard. Of course, right end wouldn't mean right guard, but left guard on the play before, left guard, 2nd and goal from the 2, left guard, 3rd and goal from the 1, and then it's the Cook play where he stopped, but he leans the ball in. So I think I've counted 4. I'm guessing the caller's right. 6 sneaks or short yardage runs. And you've got the second to last possession where, well, I guess that's the third to last possession because they scored on their second to last possession, the Samuel touchdown to tie the game. Prior to that is when he gets stopped, left guard on 4th and 1. I mean, I don't have a strong opinion or a criticism of a lack of creativity. I guess you could. I wasn't expecting to be won over necessarily by Joe Brady. I feel like the Dorsey exit was weird. And they waited for a game that they lost on a special teams blunder, as it happens, to make that move. And I guess you'd have to say that it worked out. I mean, they won almost every game after that and had a fine season last year, although they had great seasons with Dorsey as well. You couldn't argue that it didn't work out, I think. But I wasn't assuming that it would work out. I think with Allen here, you almost can't fail. But did the Bills become a team scheme-wise, motion, play action, all kinds of different things that would be, well, to use the caller's word, more creative? I wouldn't have guessed that they would, and I'm not sure that they have. been more creative to the caller's sort of overall analysis. What they've done right that I think is the more interesting thing, and it's in keeping with what's happened around the league, is that they leaned into their ability to run the ball. And that's something that I would have, A, not advocated for, B, not really expected to work before it all started. But it has worked. Allen running isn't surprising to me because Allen running is, he's a beast. And so in these kind of 3rd and 3 kind of plays, right end, that kind of thing can come pretty easy to him. So there's that. But, outside of him, I never really thought the Bills becoming more of a running team was in the cards or in their best interest, but they played it right, and again, the whole league kind of forced teams like the Bills into this by how they lined up, what they did, lighter boxes, right? Like they dare you now to run it, and the Bills were willing to do it, and they made it work. And that's, Cook was the beneficiary of that, of course, and Allen too. And you tell me if you feel differently. I think going into this season, that probably continues. Maybe, every game is different. Every opponent will line up a little bit differently. But why wouldn't teams, after last year, go about, just general philosophy, go about things the same way? I want you to need 12 plays to score on me, not 5. And if I back up, 2 high safeties, all that, then you're going to pivot and run the ball, and then, maybe you'll get there, but you're going to have to execute for longer rather than me giving you, easier shots at chunk plays and that kind of thing. I don't expect the league to go back until something else changes. And that means we might be looking forward to a year where, like last year, not just the Bills, but a lot of teams will try to beat you on the ground, which is, maybe not as exciting, but it worked. That's what I would say. So my overall here is just like, I want to give Brady and their offense credit for that. I think they deserve credit for that. But in terms of the one play you're talking about, the quarterback sneak, I don't know, anybody else have a take? Like, what do you want to be different there? Someday, Josh Allen will slow down. And at that point, the Bills will have to come up with new ways to convert 3rd and 3 than just having him, run over linebackers and do what he does. Someday that changes. I doubt it will be this year. Maybe it's gradual. But I think for now, especially when you're trying to get that first title, we've seen the Bills like 2 years ago try to hold him back. Then they were 6-6 and they fired Dorsey and like, all right, enough. Let him out. And then the volume, his rushing volume significantly picked up. What do you think? 803-0550. It's an interesting discussion.